Okay, let's begin. And as most of you know, that these are going to be this session is going to be recorded, so it's going to also be made available later for those who could not join us. And of course, it will also serve as a resource for you to come back to if you have any questions on the topics that we will be going through today. You can submit all your questions through the Q&A button. And of course, there's going to be an opportunity to ask further questions on the channels that you have been registering on. My colleague Michele will speak a little bit more about that. So you can send us your questions during the presentations if you want, or at the very end, we have a dedicated moment. Either we will reply on the chat or we will take the question live. As I mentioned, of course, yes, if you cannot ask a question now, if something comes up later, Michele is going to further explain how you can put your questions there, and we will be definitely answering them soon. And we're going to try and finish exactly at 5 p.m. We understand a lot of you are very, very busy. So we have a really great lineup for today. We're going to get right on it. We're going to start with Othman Cherkaoui Dekkaki, who is going to give us an inspirational speech. We want you to, of course, you have already registered for the hackathon. We know you care, but why is the ocean so important to us? What is it that makes us want to find so many solutions? Why are so many of us working on this with such a passion, actually? Then, of course, we're going to have an introduction to the Blue-Cloud 2026 project by Sara Pittonet from Trust IT, who are coordinating the project. We are going to get into more technical details and take a look at the VREs of Blue-Cloud that will be presented by Pasquale Pagano from CNR in Italy. You're going to hear from Sigmund Kluckner on the ocean best practices. It's going to be very important also for the solutions you're going to be creating. And then finally, we're going to have a discussion again about how we can best support you in this phase where you're creating your ideas, when you're looking for your teams, etc. So we're going to discuss a little bit the ideation part. So I'm going to pass on to my name is Angeliki Karampourouni. Again, welcome. We will be doing these next live sessions together. And I'm going to pass now to my colleague Michele Erba from Pristine Agency, who is going to go through some more details.
Thank you so much, Angeliki, and welcome all to the Blue-Cloud Hackathon officially. Just a few words before we give the floor to our speakers. So for you to understand what is the hackathon structure, so how the hackathon will develop. We have 3 different phases. We are now in the first one, which is the 2-week warm-up. We have 4 live sessions planned from 16 to 24 of September. And I will give a little bit more details in the next slide. And then we have the hackathon itself. It's a 3-day hackathon where we will have 1 hackathon kickoff live session like this one on Zoom, where you guys will have the chance to meet each other a little bit more. And basically, we will officially kick off the hackathon days. The hackathon is from 29 September to the 1st of October. And then we will have a final pitch and award ceremony where the teams will be able to pitch again their ideas in front of the jury members. We will then reevaluate the ideas, and then we can announce the winners of the hackathon. It's going to happen on the 2nd of October. Now, let's see. Let's get a little bit more into details of the live sessions that we have planned. Live session number 1 is this one. Angeliki explained the agenda a minute ago. And then we have the next one, which is planned in 2 days on the 18th of September, where basically we will explore the virtual labs. It's going to be a live session on the Blue-Cloud services, and it's going to be all about the virtual labs. We will wait for the next week on the 23rd of September, where on the live session number 3, we will explore the workbenches, Blue-Cloud data discovery and access service, and the beacon, and all the other tools available on Blue-Cloud. And then the last one is the live session number 4. As you know, as you might know, we have four challenges in this hackathon, and we would like to provide you more details about that. So as you can see, all the live sessions are from 3 to 5 for all the days. About the hackathon challenges, as I was mentioning, all the details about the challenges are on Event Tornado. You can find them on the hackathon website, on the hack guide, which I will explain later on, and also on Event Tornado. We have 4 challenges. Challenge number 1, mapping and understanding marine ecosystem and species. Challenge number 2, supporting early warning in response to accident or natural events. Challenge number 3, which is tracking and forecasting ocean health. And the challenge number 4, which is the wildcard, double up with editor. So all the details, you can find them on these resources that I mentioned before. Now, the hack guide. So the hack guide is the Bible for you guys to participate in the hackathon. You can find it here under hack guide and tutorials on Event Tornado. And if you click on this link, you will then have access to the full document. So in there, you have all the information shared today, in the next live sessions, and all the other live sessions. Very important, we have a communication tool to communicate with you. So to participate in this hackathon, we will provide you support on Discord, and then you need to access Discord if you want to communicate with us. The process to do that is to go on this tab here on Event Chat, click on this button, follow the process, and then you basically will have access to Discord, where in there you can find the coaches, you can find me, you can find all the channels for us to support you. So these are the basic information on the hackathon, the main information on the hackathon. And Angeliki, if I touch any point, maybe it's time to introduce the next speaker.
I will. Thank you very much, Michele. And to the point that Michele just mentioned about joining Discord, it will be great. We do get a lot of questions from you guys via email. But we have almost 800 participants for this hackathon, almost 70 teams already formed. So it will really make this process much easier if we can all have one platform where we can easily communicate. And actually, you know, it's where you can see who it is exactly that you need to be talking to. So I think that we can start with our speech by Othman, and why should you care? So please, Othman, thank you so much again for joining us today. I think this is going to be a really important start to get our participants really excited about this hackathon. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Angeliki. Thank you so much, Michele. I'm happy to be here. I know it's not a very easy talk to give. It's why we're interested in the ocean. It's basically, I would say, the most simplest questions are the most difficult, yet it's very interesting. So, the ocean, why should we care? And it's not a simple question, and it's not the most easiest to answer, nor the most difficult to answer. So I've been recently involved into a lot of concepts in the science world and also the marine science world. And one of the concepts that have been submerged lately is what a concept called JEDI concept, which means justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And the idea of the ocean has this JEDI concept of it. And I feel like also in the Blue-Cloud, in this Blue-Cloud hackathon, we've maintained this JEDI concept by making it inclusive. And if you let me explain what is inclusive, because it's basically open to anyone. And when I say to anyone, it doesn't mean just geographically, it means also in terms of specialties. It's open to marine scientists, data scientists, mathematicians, ocean lovers, students, NGOs, basically anyone we can state. And I've had the joke with the family because in my family, I have a niece that is 1 year old, and I was like, can I register her for the hackathon? Because actually she can participate if she could have talked. Yeah, so basically you don't need to have a PhD, you need to be interested. And if you are interested enough in the ocean and you could add something to the discussion, then you're welcome to join us into this Blue-Cloud Hackathon. So once you feel interested into joining the Blue-Cloud Hackathon, then you might ask yourself why you should care about the ocean and why actually now. And I can give you a long speech about the ocean is basically our life support system, our oxygen, our food. It's basically life in the future. However, as every beautiful story, there is I would say in every horror movie, there is a jump scare. So when you see everything going smoothly, you know, there is like something that's gonna come up, and the thing that come up is actually we're overfishing, the temperature rising, we're destroying the coral reef, we're destroying the ocean, and basically we're destroying the livelihood of surviving in this earth. Basically, by not being good humans, throwing plastic in the sea, throwing our garbage in the sea, and basically destroying the only thing that's keeping us surviving for so long. So this is why a lot of people are now interested in coming together as a global community to solve these issues. And you can see that now we are in what you call the ocean decade, UN Ocean Decade, which started in 2021 and it will continue until 2030. And it has conferences that want to push the agenda for fixing and coming together to fix the ocean. And you can see that also for the sustainable development goals, the SDGs, we have one SDGs that is for the life below the water, and also to continue the concept of the JEDI, if we're being just and diverse and equitable, and also welcoming. There's a work in progress that is including what we call ECOPs. It's an action within the UN Ocean Decade. It's an action during this decade, and it gets what we call the early ocean career professionals to join, get training, get a lot of stuff. So this is why you all shouldn't be interested, because it's for now. It's an issue for now. We need to join together to deal with this now. But why do we need to join now? Because as long as you can understand, the ocean has been always with us. I mean, you can hear stories about poem for the mythology, Greeks mythology, speaking about the ocean. However, you can see that we know the ocean less than we know the space. And we actually, the space, we started getting interested in the space just the last century. However, for the ocean, we have been interested from the beginning. And you can see that only 20% of the seafloor has been mapped with modern tools. There is ocean data, but it's like nobody can decipher it or understand it or have the experience to use it. And it feels like there is one ocean, however, we divide it as much as we could. We'd be like, there is like the Pacific, the Atlantic, but there is only one ocean, and we should understand that we should collaborate together to come with a unique connected piece of information and solution to unlock these issues that we face. So why it matters? I just wrote 2 points, because without data, we are just basically, we act blind, so we don't know. And without open science, we cannot act. So this is why we need data and we need an open science to continue. And now I'm just interested to tell you about why what is Blue-Cloud and why we should be interested. And I've just made a small recipe because it was lunchtime, my time. So I was like, I'm a fan of food. So I was like, the ingredient is data. The ingredient is a problem, and we are problem solving people. We like to solve problems. So the ingredient is data. The recipe is the workflows of the Blue-Cloud, and then you are the chef. You are the one who's going to give us a recipe and outcomes. And as you can see, by having all sorts of data and by a whole sort of science or inputs, you can use the Blue-Cloud environment, you can use multitude of environments to give us some kind of output. And these outputs can be run through policy, science, papers, and it can help us develop science. And this is one of the things we want to do here, as we want to do through the hackathon, get you interested to create something that's gonna help us in the future. So this is the concept of the hackathon spirit. You need just to be ambitious and have bold ideas. Nothing, I would say every idea is a good idea until you give up on it. So don't give up on your ideas, because all the ideas are bold ideas. And experimental things are fine. Teams will be shaped and you guys can run everything. And you can talk, like share openly with other people, I think, and you will get like a lot of mentors you will have that will help you continue your work and assist you to doing great things. But why should we be interested in the ocean in terms of what the hackathon is purposefully given us, which gave us 4 challenges? Well, the first challenge is understanding the marine ecosystem. And I was like, basically, we need like, it's have food security in it as an SDGs. It has knowledge about the plankton, and it will help us to understand the ecosystem, and it will help us solve the overfishing and help us understand the species within the ocean. So there is like 2 SDGs important that first face it, but also there is like one of the most important challenges for the UN Ocean Decade, which is protect and restore ecosystem and biodiversity, which is the second challenge. So it's important for us to treat this challenge as the first one, because it will help us understand, but also equip ourselves for restoring and protecting the ecosystem. However, the second challenge is as important as the first one. It's a post-early warning responses. And for that, you should be interested to know that we face a lot of global issues coming from ecosystems, destruction, etc. Also, there is global risks that humans put in the ocean through oil spills, invasive species, and extreme events like tsunamis, etc. So we need to act fast and have strong response systems. So by that, you also can see that there's like ecosystem of sustainable city and communities, especially the communities that live within the coasts. And there's like also climate change affecting this. And for that, you can see that also the UN DK challenges has already equipped itself with one challenge, this is number 5, that says unlock the ocean-based solution to climate change. However, for the third one, which is my favorite one, which is tracking and forecasting ocean health, because I'm a mathematician by my studies, I'm interested into forecasting future and tracking. And it seems like with this challenge, you can reshape the world by understanding and predicting the ecosystem in the future. You can also anticipate delays, actions, reactions, etc. But also you can like track the ocean health and its vital signs. And also for this, there is like SDGs number 3 and 13, but also there is one pattern challenge that I've always loved, which is challenge number 7, which is sustainably expand the global ocean observation system. And by that, meaning that the word global is what attracts me to that. It's a global ocean observance system. And for the last challenge, it was a challenge that I've almost would say it's interesting one, because it's a white card, meaning that you can like use the editor, which is the European Digital Twin Ocean Backbone, and you have a bold ID that can be creative enough, and the sky is your limit. And you can see that also SDGs and the challenges of the Ocean Decade were here, because there is like the 17th SDGs that have been added recently, which is partnership for the goals, and also for the UN Ocean Decade, there's like the challenge 9, which is skills and knowledge and technology and participation for all. I mean, you all can come together and develop one that's outside of the 3 challenges, but it's boldly enough that's gonna be impactful to us. So by telling you all these challenges, I'm giving you fruitful thoughts to tell me if you have any superpower, meaning that you were in your mind is a supercomputer, and you had a digital superpower for the ocean, what would you be tracking each morning? Well, migration, microplastic, ocean level, oxygen levels, or sea surface temperature. What would you do? And you can see that each one of them I wrote here can be linked to one of the challenges, challenge 1 or 2 or 3, or even the wildcard challenge. So when you think about the ID, maybe think about it as what would be your superpower, and what would be something creative you would think of that you're going to be tracking each morning. So, as I mentioned in this talk, that coming together and working as a unity is one global goal, and that's why teams should be diverse. Have people that are biologists, marines biologists, have people that know how to code, people that are just fan interested and have everything included, because with this co-creation, we can actually get something great. And again, the UN Ocean Decade has something for this, and it's called the Challenge 10, which is restore society relationship with the ocean. And this is where my talk comes from, is actually tell you that we need to restore this relationship with the ocean, and coming together, knowing that it's us the answer, it's coming together is the answer, and it's also share openly the issues, talk about it with your peers, and hack boldly, because this is what we want to get you, is like, we want to know your creativity and inspiration, and the sky is the limit. So thank you so much for listening to me, and this is my contact, and I'm available for any talk and any discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Othman. That was really great. I already know what my ocean superpower would be. I'm really glad that it's really, to be honest, I mean, if we had the time, I could have so many follow-up questions, but I'm glad that, you know, you actually showed us all the wonderful things that the ocean does for us. There is a gloom part, which is why apparently we are here trying to find solutions. But I'm also glad that you touch upon you touch also upon the policy background of everything, and how all of these topics are connected. The United Nations having chosen them for a reason. So thank you very much. I am inspired, and we're now going to go on and hear from our colleague Sara Pittonet. She knows everything about the Blue-Cloud that there would be to know, and it's important that now we start talking a little bit more about what the Blue-Cloud 2026 project is, why the work that it does is so important, and indeed is looking for solutions that Othman for the topics that Othman has just touched upon. So I'm going to pass to Sara. Sara, thank you also for joining us very much. We really look forward to you introducing the Blue-Cloud project a little bit on a deeper level.
Thank you very much, Angeliki. Thank you all, and welcome, and thank you, Othman, because I really enjoyed your presentation, and I think, I mean, you gave me 2 easy links to pick up. One is that, of course, we are looking at all of you to become our superheroes, for saving our oceans. But the other nice connections that you made is the one of the kitchen that I must say I like a lot, because whenever you are in a small kitchen or in a three-star Michelin restaurant, the key, for success is team building. And you might know that, I mean, in really, I mean, the brigade of restaurants, any single individual is important. And that's also the approach that we are taking as Blue-Cloud, because our approach starts with open science and continues and builds on open science in a collaborative environment. So that's why we are here today, and that's what I'm going to introduce you now. So give me a second. I'll find my presentation, and I hope you can see it. Okay.
Perfect.
So from now on and for the next 2 weeks, you'll get familiar with this entry point. This is the entry page of the Blue-Cloud virtual research environment. So as you might have seen from the presentations of my colleagues before, you've seen a tiny flag on the bottom of the slide saying funded by the EU. Blue-Cloud is a project funded by the European Commission. But I won't bother you with these project-related things because it has been running since years already. I mean, it started all of these, all of the concept of building this platform started 10 years ago, and it has become operational over the last 5 years, I would say. So we are here today offering you a gateway, a platform, a virtual research environment for performing quality ocean, seas, and inland waters research. So we know that this is the entry point. What we don't know is what will be the outcomes, what will be pulled out of this environment by you. And that's what we really look forward to. You are challenging this environment with your ideas. We need your curiosity, your research need, your business dreams to test and push at its maximum the Blue-Cloud platform. So I've seen from the slides that Michele presented that half of you or half of the team that registered for this hackathon comes from university. You're still students, researchers, possibly at the early career stages. So we are really looking forward for your ideas. So from now on, you'll get trained, you'll receive feedback, you receive materials and guidance on how to exploit this environment. And what you will find in the Blue-Cloud virtual research environment are a set of what we call them core and generic capabilities. Basically, are you'll find a variety of agnostic and cross-domain, let's say, services, such as analytical tools, harmonizing tools, publishing, cloud computing resources, visualization tools, that will allow you to set, let's say, your experiments and your hackathon ideas. You'll find a workspace, you'll find Jupyter Hub notebooks, you'll rely on cloud computing services, then you will have data management facilities, so you will find data sets, data products, you will be able to bring additional data sources in case you have them. You'll find services to find the data, browse, access them, or even brokerage services to download data and reuse them in the environment. All this, which will be the basis, so you can access all of these services, will then be combined with marine thematic services. So you'll find a series of virtual laboratories, that's how we call them within the platform, that offer specific products and analytical tools related to specific marine research need. So you'll find 5 virtual labs on coastal ocean observation matters, on carbon plankton dynamics, marine environmental indicators, a global fishery atlas. But you'll also find what we call workbenches, which are pipelines of qualified, harmonized data sets on the essential ocean variables, and in particularly focusing on physics aspects, eutrophication, so related to plankton and nutrients, and more broadly, ecosystem level essential ocean variables always rely on information gathered from plankton. So all of this is what you'll find inside, and you should consider Blue-Cloud as your factory for marine application. Okay, so you can exploit the computing generic capabilities, find out which of the virtual labs better meets in your research or business needs, and which resources can be better used by you. You can browse and test the applications, try the collaborative services, try the entire working environment, and even go beyond and expand, and access data that come from marine data providers, blue data providers, well, not just those part of the Blue-Cloud community, but even beyond, and provided by huge European data providers such as EMODnet, the European Network for in situ maritime data, and Siemens for satellite data. So just to give you a snapshot of some, I've picked up some of the virtual labs that you might decide to use or to browse when you're in. This is the Marine Environmental Indicators virtual labs. That is a generic service that provide cascading services, so services specifically designed to support decision-making on sustainable development aspects, whether they are ocean heat waves or the storm severity index, for instance. Another example is the service which is called the Integration of Coastal Observation along Europe, that is specifically designed to support you in the exploration of coastal related matters for some areas in Europe in particular. Or then you have the Fishery Atlas, which is a virtual lab where you can access the global tuna atlas, for instance, provided in collaboration with FAO, and other information and data sets specifically related to the stock and fishery stocks. And last but not least, as we mentioned before, you can access the workbenches, so modeling workflows on specific essential ocean variables that you can use and integrate in your data, in your applications, in your tools, in your models as well. This is one of the 3D ecosystem level 1 that relies on plankton observations to produce these maps of global distribution of plankton entities. And as Othman said, so you have 4 challenges in the hackathon to pick up, but the last one actually is a novelty we are particularly proud of, because it's the first time that the hackathon is partnering with the Edito platform. Edito is the core infrastructure supporting the European Union Digital Twin of the Ocean program. And as you can see, it relies on multiple efforts from multiple initiatives. It's a long-term initiative of the European Commission, and Blue-Cloud is contributing resources to this system. So while developing your applications, you are also playing your part in designing applications for modeling digital twin of the ocean in the near future. And to conclude, so this is a snapshot of the Blue-Cloud user community as we had it in May. So it dates back to a few months ago. This is just to tell you that so far within the platform, we have more than 2,000 active users. But I hope and I have the feeling that this will increase thanks to you, because as Michele said, we had 800 expressions of interest for this hackathon. There are 70 of you here today. So and behind you there are teams and people. So we really hope to grow our community. We are offering you the platform to test your application, but in exchange, we ask you to provide us with feedback because it's thanks to your feedback that we get stimulated on producing better IT and software services, better cloud, in general, computing services. Our leaders and partners in the virtual labs will improve their services for thematic marine research. So we really count on you for pushing this platform at its maximum. And with that, I think I'm done and happy to leave the floor.
Thank you, Sarah.
My
You're
colleagues.
right. This is first of all, this was a great presentation. Blue-Cloud is a treasure trove for anyone who is in this marine science community. I think it's also a very important reason we have this really high interest in this event. I think that participants who were not very familiar with Blue-Cloud up until now have a little bit of a better understanding of what the project aims to do. There are incredible people, as Sarah mentioned. There are so many people behind this project, behind the technologies, adding and creating these resources for you. So it is indeed part of the hackathon's goal to help for you to help us test the services that are currently provided, and of course collect your feedback so we can continue improving. I am going to immediately now pass to Pasquale Pagano from CNR. He is, I would say, the rock star of the project. Again, if you know anything technical, this is you're talking to Lino. So thank you so much for joining us. I really look forward to your presentation myself personally. So we'll hear from Lino, and then we will continue and maybe take some questions.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I will go now through a really short demonstration of what you can do by accessing the platform. And please note that, in the next sessions, you will get, concrete instruction on how to use, the different virtual laboratories. Now, my intention is just to give you an overview of what you can do by accessing Blue-Cloud Gateway. So as Sara presented, you can go to bluecloud.d4science.org and you find, this page. You can sign in. You don't need, to create another account. If you have a digital identity with your academic institution, a university or research center, or if you have a Google account, a LinkedIn, Twitter, if you use GitHub or ORCID, you can register by using one of these. So you don't need to create a new digital identity. You, at the first time, you can log in with your identity and accept, the terms of use. And when you log in, so let me log in, you enter in the environment and you see, the set of virtual laboratories that we offer and that you can use, to make your activities during the hackathon, but also before the hackathon days. You see that each virtual laboratory here has a small icon on the right hand side, and that is, if you see that is green reporting open, means that is open access to everyone. There are environments that are private and other ones, other environments that request, the you may request the access, and the manager of the environment will grant you the access according, to your request. So if you see, you have plenty of environment, and in the top bar here on the left, you see two little icons, and I will start from those icons. So the first one is a catalog. So if you click, the Blue-Cloud catalog is loaded, and you see that are, a number of items. If you click on the items, you see all the items that have been published, by the community to support the users. Here, clearly, you can search. So in one of the sessions, you will see, for example, beacon. And if you search for beacon, you find, the specification, or or you may look for marine indicators, and you find, a number of resources. Clearly, you see also the type of resources that can be a service or documentation, like a fact sheet or a notebook. Clearly, if you click on the item, you get, the explanation and the way to use, this notebook. So the catalog contains a number of resources that help you, to use the technology and also to access documentation for this technology. So this icon instead, give you access to the workspace. The workspace is, it's like a Google Drive or any storage online. You can create your folder, and you can store your data in a private folder and so on. For example, clearly, I can create a new folder, and this little icon tell you if the folder is private, if it is shared with colleagues, or if it is, publicly shared with, everyone with an access, this blue icon. So you can create your folder and put, your data or your methods, notebooks, and so on, and then you can share with your colleague. Very easily, you can go to the function share and start, writing the name of your colleague. For example, let's suppose that I would like, to share with my colleague Massimiliano Sante, so or with Sara that just made the presentation, and I can select, the name and share, with the content of the folder. When you share a folder, clearly, you select also the policy, and the permission on the folder, and you can share in read-only the folder. So you are the only one, the owner is the only one that can add content, so files in this folder, and the other users can just, access the folder, or you can use, these two write permission. Write any means that any user can upload and delete any file, while with a write on, users can update and delete only on their own files. So this means that you can share with other users, but they can, edit and delete only their own files. So very easy to use, and this creates, a space for collaboration, because then, the workspace is accessible in all other applications, services, notebooks, and so on, access the workspace. So if you share your data in your team, then, you can work, on the notebooks by accessing, this content that is shared with all members of the team. If we go back, this is the environment. You see in this environment, you can access, the Blue-Cloud Lab that provide, common services, and that also Sara presented to you in the slide. And you see that, this is a place where you can, implement, your computation of your data by using different tools. You may use, Jupyter to implement notebooks. And for Jupyter, we have, two different platforms, but for you are, completely equivalent. They change in the capacity of the computational resources. So you can use Google. And if I click here, now by using my account, my user, I'm now using, resources on the Google Cloud. But as you see, in a completely transparent way, I can select, different Google Cloud capacity in terms of CPU cores and memory, but also in terms of the libraries. If I want to work with Julia with the R environment or with the Python, and I can also use, GPU. So if I know how to exploit, GPUs, and so how to run, PyTorch and CUDA, I can start, a notebook that provide access to the GPUs that are, NVIDIA Tesla V100, and if I click here, a notebook is started. Sorry, this is my phone. You see that now, my notebook is starting up on the Google Cloud platform, and just the time to start a container notebook on the cloud. And I have now my notebook, I can select the kernel, and I have my notebook here. As you see here, I have access to the workspace. And so with all the content that is available in the workspace. This is one of the environment. I can start also, a notebook let's leave this environment. On the D4Science Cloud platform, similarly, I have to choose, the environment that I want to start with the different core and libraries available. In this case, you see, I have, also different environments like Pluto notebooks that are available. According to your needs, you can select, the Google Cloud or the D4Science Cloud. If you are instead using, to work with R, you can start RStudio. And also, in this case, you have a different configuration for RStudio. And otherwise, you can use our computation engine, starting, one of the available methods that you find here classified, for example, machine learning or filtering or geoprocessing, and so on. And each method clearly requires a number of parameters with instruction that you can follow to process your data. So this environment is open. You can already now try it. You can log in and exploit this environment. We have a quota, but you should not care about. You will be guided through the exploitation of these resources. So if you have, data to upload, you can upload. If you reach the quota, you will get a notification. Clearly, all the instructions are in the terms of use, but you may use, the system without any problem. You have also, the content of the workspace, tailored for this environment. You see, I am in Blue-Cloud Lab. This is my storage in Blue-Cloud Lab. So each virtual laboratory has its own storage area where I can access, for example, even tutorial or notebook in this case. And then I can change, environment to use any of the other environment, including, the services. I will not introduce too much because, then in the next sessions, you will get, the instruction on how to exploit, the different environments. But clearly, as Sara presented, briefly, if you go in one environment, you find, a different virtual laboratory. Now we are in the Marine Environmental Indicator Laboratory with a number of functions, including, for example, the Marine Environmental Indicator Generator. In this case, you will get access to an application, for example, to compute, for example, annual climatology map. And you can select, automatically the data source. You can input, select your parameters, select your method if you want, potential seawater potential temperature or seawater salinity or sea current, for example. Let's select one. And when you execute a process, you get a notification, okay, and this job is submitted, and you will get, notified when a job is completed. You can access the results. Clearly, this is cloud processing in a cloud infrastructure. So while waiting, I can also select, to calculate an annual mean time series. Again, select the data sources, select, what I want to calculate, and submit another job. And this will be put, in the queue of the execution. I can leave also the environment, meantime, and explore another environment. And the computation, will continue, to be performed, and then I can go back, and get the results. Similarly, I can navigate all these that are open, accessible environments, and I can explore, use, and access all the environments, get the instruction. You see that in all environments there are the instruction on how to use. There are the how-tos. If I follow, I get step-by-step instruction on how to use this environment, and then clearly I can execute the different thematic services available in this virtual laboratory. So this is, my short introduction about the capabilities of the Blue-Cloud virtual research environment. Clearly, if you have any question, I can answer to you. Angeliki?
We do have some questions that we're collecting them, that we're going to come back to at the end of the presentations. It was really great that you gave us this kind of presentation. I think that even though we have a lot of documentation that we will be sharing, and we already have shared some of it with the participants of the hackathon, but I think that this is a really good way to show them, to start having a better sense really of the resources that they will be using, not only in paper, but actually on the platform. So I hope that after this presentation, many of you will visit the Blue-Cloud 2026 project website. You're going to take a look at the resources that are available ahead of the kickoff of the hackathon itself. The more you familiarize yourself, the better. So, and you have Lino here. It will be great if you can send us your questions. We will make sure to answer as many of them as we have time for. So, okay. Thank you very much, Lino.
Thank you, Angeliki.
We are now, I believe, going to pass to our colleague Sigmund Kluckner, who is going to talk to us about ocean best practices. This is another very important topic for all of you participating in this hackathon, because even though it is not something that we have highlighted in the deliverables, etc. But the ocean best practices is something that all of us in this community are looking for. It's a very important topic. And then I feel that Sigmund is someone who can really help direct you to start using these practices. So Sigmund, over to you.
All right.
Looking forward. Thank you.
Well, that's expectation management. Thank you. Right. So thank you for inviting me. I will be sharing a little bit about what I understand, what ocean best practices are, where best practices can be found, and just generally talk a little bit about what we think could be important. So following up with the metaphor of the ingredients, and food, the best practices are the recipes. It's a little trickier than that, and I'll show you in a minute why. I have another example of a practice, and you all know that we are after all in the ocean. How to boat. Now, I asked you how to build a boat, you would come up with something of wood or anything else, but it can also be just out of paper, right? And this, the thing that you see right here, this could be potentially called a practice. Or it is a practice because it shows you what to do. So it's a method on how to build a paper boat. Now, is it the best practice? We don't know. There are different ways to build that. But you can finish a goal with that, with those 12 steps. So I mentioned best practice. So what does that mean and where's the difference? Now, the best practice in the definition of Jay Perlman and Pauline Simpson and others who are working on the ocean best practice system, which we're coming to in a minute, the best practice is a methodology that has repeatedly produced superior results relative to other methodologies with the same objective. So there can be the same objective. The people can find out, can reinvent the wheel 3 times, and one of the wheels will be the best, right? So that's the idea, that it has been adopted and employed by multiple organizations. It has shown promising results, and that it has shown that whatever we have done in that practice, or whatever we have done for the objective, we have gotten there better than others. One important aspect as well is that the practices are created by the community for the community. And I'll come back to the differentiation later as well. Now, we know ocean practices are not as easy as building a paper boat. There's a lot of stuff that goes into, for example, ocean observation in terms of technology, in terms of algorithms. So we at OBPS and in general in the ocean best practices world, we're looking at this a little bit more deeper. So for example, here, a best practice on dissolved organic carbon measurements. So this is highly technical. I personally have no idea what that is because I am a computer science engineer. It looks fancy, and I'm sure that whatever people have developed here is that this is currently the method that is the go-to method if you want to do measuring dissolved organic carbon. And that's what I would find on OBPS. So this is the ocean best practice system. If I wanted to go to find those practices, I'll go there and I can find exactly what I'm looking for. And you'll see here highlighted 2 things. The top one here says Goose endorsed practice. So I'll come back to that in a little bit as well. And we also have recently started to also include translations so that we are as inclusive as possible and not only rely on English. Now, practices on OBPS will have, for example, a detailed description of sample collection, storage, so also bad practices. If there was water samples involved, for example. They will describe the instrumentation and how they are set up and what the best ways to set those up, the software that is used, any operational procedures, standards that we rely on, the quality control, and how to document the results. So everything that basically shows us how to get where we want to be in the research question or observation question. I said compared to others, best practices. We normally compare them also to standards. So I mentioned best practices. They evolve from individual developed methods. So community, from the community, for the community, grassroots, bottom up. So that's pretty much the idea. Standards are a documented set of guidelines and specifications and defined under in standardization. So people get together into a working group, write up the standard and publish it. And the published standard normally then means that this is the way to go. Sometimes it's also mandated by governments, especially when it comes to safety and security. Standards often are built on top of best practices or on practices in that sense. So you could also see this as a continuum between practices and standards in the adoption and the, I want to say, codification of how to do things. We cannot forget, though, that standards and best practices ensure consistency and uniformity in how things are done or produced. So this is the most important thing. But all of it is looking at describing what we're doing in the best way possible and to make them comparable. Now, why do we want to use best practices and where do we find ocean-related ones? I already mentioned some of the things. Why using best practices? Obviously, it's efficient use of time. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Other points are that the data that is produced is interoperable. So if many organizations or projects use the same practices, then the outputs are also comparable, which also includes and creates a bigger trust in that data. It is reproducible. You have collaboration opportunities, similarly to the paper that you see there. As many authors as there are, I am sure that there were a lot of collaborations between the different hosting institutions that they have, and this is exactly where we want to go. It's a community effort. We want to work together. They can help with regulatory approval. We have seen higher funding successes because we are basing something on proven successful methods. Interoperability, that goes back to the standards and data. And of course, also IOC's medium strategy elements build on global standards and best practices. So exactly where we want to be with ocean observation and so on. Now, ocean best practices are generally or should be considered or submitted to the ocean best practices system, where we're trying to collaborate and collect and catalog and everything else, those practices, so that they're easily findable for everybody to develop their new projects or their new measurements and to build on top of what already there. OBPS has recently been also included into as a UNESCO IOC tool. So IOC is very much interested in also keeping this up and running. And this is also very important for the community. OBPS originally, the objectives were, as I mentioned, to co-develop practices with the community, but also co-developing the OBPS system itself. OBPS wants to facilitate the creation, sharing, and adoption of practices, which is also why I'm here, is to call you all on sharing the practices that you might develop in the hackathon. I mentioned practice finding is one of the important parts, international recognition. We also have a maturity level of practices, which I will go into detail in a minute. We have the endorsement of the practices. So that goes through a special peer review of panels so that they are actually endorsed. And we have community adopted best practices that we want to provide overall. The maturity model that I mentioned, so you can think of it because it is a community effort, that somebody has an idea and they develop a methodology or method to do some ocean observation, do something with ocean data, and they write it up. All right, they wrote it up. Great. This is the formation part. They publish it, and other people are looking at it and they try to repeat it. Find it is repeatable. Cool. We have maturity level number 2. In number 3, we have it more defined and we have it well documented. So whatever has happened is also repeated and it is documented well so that other people can understand and take it and run with it as well, which gives us a better practice. So better practice means that it is used by multiple institutions. So people found it and found it helpful and start using it through within their projects worldwide. It also includes what you see there, that there are means to verify the implementation in there that enables a replication and creates guidelines for the evolution of their practice. And maturity level 5, which is when it is endorsed by an expert panel, which I mentioned, that we have people coming together looking at the practice and agree that this is currently the best practice that's out there for that very specific goal that it was in mind. All right. What now? So especially for the hackathon, what are we looking for? What are we doing? What are we trying to do? Now, within the hackathon, the teams that are working on those different challenges, OBPS might already have practices for you. So there's no need to start from scratch. You can go look and see if there is a practice or a method described in OBPS that can help you with your goal. This could also be, relating back to the platform before, this could also be code that was already developed and somebody had shared for a very specific algorithm or for a very specific method. If you're creating something new, so if you find that whatever you're doing is really, really new, nobody has ever done before, and it could help the community, then in the best of all cases, we document it as a practice and submit it to OBPS. Now, I know that especially in hackathons, documentation is probably the last thing you want to think of, but looking at it from the other way, it is really, really helpful for others who want to try this again to help them save hours and hours of time that you have already solved the problem so that they don't have to again. And lastly, we're also collecting and cataloging practices within the VLabs, workbenches, and the hackathon projects. So if you're using any new projects, if there are any new published, or if there are any ones that you find that are under the radar within the VLabs or the workbenches, then please do let us know so that we can collect them and we can then either publish them or help publish on OBPS and otherwise. And with that, I will stop now. Feel free to reach out anytime. We are very interested to see what comes out from the hackathon. We are very interested to see the outcomes of these different projects and all the different new tools and especially methods that people will develop for the challenges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sigmund. I thought that was a great presentation, and I think that especially when you got to the ocean best practices part, all these elements that you mentioned, they tie in very well with the hackathon deliverables, because these are the nuances that we're always looking for in solutions. It can be a great solution, but can it be applied anywhere else? Is it something that we can eventually be sharing as a best practice? Can other people use your solution, perhaps for other ideas? So this, the way that you have tied it into the hackathon itself is really great. And we are looking forward to seeing what results we could provide you with. That would be great for us as well, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of our speakers. We do have a number of questions. Some of them we have been answering as we go to the ones that we could. The one question that keeps coming up, I just want to say it again. We have been recording this session, so it will definitely be, we will be sharing it in the coming days, very soon. So you can rewatch it and share it perhaps with other team members. I'm going to pass now to my colleague Michele again, who is going to tell us a little bit more on the technical parts of the hackathon before we go back to our panel and your questions.
Thank you so much, Angeliki. I'm back again. So yes, it will take around 10 minutes for me to basically reconnect to the presentation of all the speakers, but especially Othman and Sigmund, to provide you maybe some ideation support. Because with their presentation right now in mind, we do have a process in case you are joining the hackathon, and this happens sometimes. You are joining the hackathon, you really want to join, but you don't have an idea, right? Maybe you have a team, maybe you have colleagues that would like to join, but you don't know how to basically apply for the hackathon with an idea. So the purpose of these 5-10 minutes are to provide you with a tool for ideation. And let me go to Event Tornado. So here we are on Event Tornado. I already showed you the hack guide. On the hack guide, if you click here, you can click directly on the image. It will open the hack guide document itself. So in there, we have this tab here, joining without an idea, let us help. And then in here, you have this link. This is a link to a Miro board. And you can open this Miro board. You can also use it if you already have an idea, maybe to double check or to have a support on your idea. And let's explore for a second this board. So the first instruction on how to create a copy of the board, which I'm not going to explain here, is very simple. So once you have created a copy of the board and you copy it on your own Miro account, you will be able to start from the Welcome tab, which is here. So this board has been created, designed to help you and the team, as I said before, to come up with an idea for the Blue-Cloud Hackathon. So we will start with the tab Meet the Team. And then in here, you can basically break the ice, provide a team name, select the selected hackathon challenge and the idea name, only if you already have it. You can also provide pictures of each one of the team members. Each one of them should join this Miro board and add the picture, the short bio, so this way you can meet each other, right? Imagine that we have a lot of teams which are not only multidisciplinary, but are coming from very different countries with very different time zones. So in here, you can have a clear situation of who is where and also the time zone. So you know how and when you can contact them and when is the best time for you to have a team meeting, for example. Then here you can have, we have provided an icebreaker. So in here, you should replace this with your name and maybe have a design, maybe have a drawing of your happy place. It can be, I don't know, maybe your holiday house or a place where you used to went to when you were young. So in here, it's another way, right, to know each other better because this is a virtual hackathon. You're not meeting physically in person, but still we have some way to know each other with this methodology. Once you have done this, you can go to the phase number 1, which is the phase understand, empathize, and define. So what should you do here? In this phase, we deep dive in the user's world, right? So in here, you should have an empathy map, basically understanding who is the user you're trying to solve a problem of. So in here, you have the demographic tab here, when you can say, for example, we are trying to solve problems for people working in this industry or in this field, they're aged like this and so on. What they say, what they think, what they do, and what they feel. What are their goals? And also, especially the last one, maybe the most important one, the pain points, right? So what are the challenges, the obstacles and pain points that this audience faces? In here, you have a suggestion of how long should it take. It's up to you if it takes shorter or longer. It's completely up to you. And then in here, once you have done this exercise, you can build your own persona, right? So you can generate a photo using AI, or maybe you can draw it if you want, and then create an actual persona, right? Name, age, occupation, personality, goals and needs, motivations, and so on. And once you have done this persona, you basically need to do a research focus. Okay, so based on the empathy map that you have done before, you need to understand what are the need and pain points that you will focus on for this persona. Feedback gathering here. This point is more, let's say, trying to understand if you can get some feedback from those users, right? From those personas that you have defined. And I think maybe here you can also explore, as Sigmund said, maybe the OBPS gallery, right? So you can go there and you can understand if there are some best practices are already present, and if you have an audience also for that, or there is already a feedback on that best practice. Once you have done this, you can define the problem statement, right? So the problem statement is very simple. It's just a phrase. It's this one. User needs a way to do something because of the reason, pain point. So in here, you will have this phrase will help you then define and come up with and generate new ideas. Once you have defined your problem statement definition, and a suggestion is that it should be aligned with one of the hackathon challenges, okay, you can go to the phase number 2, ideate. In here, you need to expand your problem statement and generate the how might we question, right? So you need to reframe the problem as opportunities. And then in here, you can say, how might we do this to solve that? And you and all the team members can do that. You can have a sticky note for that. And once you have done that, now it's time to generate ideas. So as Othman was saying at the beginning, there are no stupid ideas in this phase. You need to be bold. You can generate any idea that you want, as many ideas as you want. So in this phase, you can come up with any idea that you want, taking into consideration the how might we board here, and also the problem statement definition. So each one of the each one of the team members should come up with idea. You can generate 10 to 50, to 15. And then once you have all generated these little ideas, you can vote them, right? So each one of you has 8 dots to vote. And then the results will be this. You will see which one is the most promising or voted ideas. And you can then move it to the winning idea here. So this way, if you follow this process, I can explain into detail right now, so I'm going a little bit fast. Once you've done this, you have this post-it, and you can go to the idea sheet, and then in here you can provide an idea title, an idea concept, or a brief description, let's say. Which one of the hackathon challenges are you guys addressing? If you already know it, what Blue-Cloud services and resources the idea will leverage. How it helps, your idea helps solve your selected hackathon challenge. And then if you plan to use Editor, how the idea will leverage the Editor platform. So once you have this canvas, let's say, you can go to the next phase, which is a video that I created. You can click here, you can go to the minute number 4, and you can already create your team and submit your idea description. So this is explained in the video and also in the hack guide. Again, this process is not mandatory. You can use it or maybe not, but it's there in case you have any doubts on how to generate a good idea to participate in the hackathon. Okay, so with that being said, I guess we can move to the Q&A session. So let me stop sharing. And then let's see some questions that we have. Okay, so there are some questions that we already answered. So are there specific mentors for each challenge? The answer is yes. So we have one lead mentor for each one of the challenges. On Discord, we will make available 4 different channels, which will be called Challenge 1, Challenge 2, 3, and 4. In there, you will find the reference, the challenge leader, which you can contact, tag, write a direct message, and she or he will be the one in charge of coordinating all of your questions for that specific challenge. Right now, they're not available, but they will become available soon. So that's the situation. Another question is, will there be a winner per challenge or not necessarily? As Angeliki replied already in the Q&A section, the top 3 winners will be chosen across all 4 challenges. So the top 3 winners can come from the same challenge, different challenges, and so on. There was a technical question for Pasquale, for Lino, Pasquale Pagano. So how often can we use a small or medium Google environment? So Pasquale replied, anytime that you guys need, you can open just 1 session at a time, but there are no limits. So these are the first question that we have. We had another one. Do we get to keep the IP of our idea and the project? The detail about this are on the terms and conditions. The terms and conditions, you can find them on the hack guide. Again, in there we have detailed the whole aspect of this. Let me see. Yes, this one. Can I create a team if I do not have a full idea yet? I am joining this competition with a group of colleagues, so we want to be in a team. So as I explained right now, I believe you asked this before I had the presentation. But basically, if you go to the hack guide, there is a section which is called Joining Without an Idea, Let Us Help. If you go there, you have a board that you can use to generate the idea. We had another question again. Can we ask questions to different challenge mentors? Absolutely. The challenge channels will be open to everyone, regardless of the challenge of your team. So it will be completely open. You can ask the question to who you want. Let me see. We had another question before. So maybe if Othman is still here, this one is in the slide. It says, one of the slides of Othman, it says that the ocean is a shared resource. Is humanity viewing it as a resource, not the reason ocean health has plummeted? Is there a way of our project to make an impact by making companies and governments stop hurting her instead of responding the symptoms? So this one is a good one, I would say. So I don't know if Othman or Angeliki would like to reply to this.
I will let Othman, of course, take it over. I just want to mention that, of course, if your project managed to do that, you would be making the biggest impact. But the ocean is a resource for humanity, always has been. And it's a very big philosophical question for another time, but I will let Othman take it.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Angeliki, I think the part of the question is the answer. Is like, if you can achieve that by gathering the society and gathering all the people to find a common answer, it's the goal of these hackathon. I think, as I mentioned to a lot of people, the amount of COP we have COP 30, I mean, like 30 years that coming together as countries, and we still haven't found a common ground. It's something that we're trying to do. But I said to this is the goal of ECOP, this is the goal of Comment of the Youth, this is the goal of Hackathon, is getting interesting ideas and to create a new inspiring ideas to solve these issues. So your question is part of the path we're trying to hack for the future. Yeah.
Thank you, Othman. And I think that we should be very optimistic because indeed these last few years we have accelerated so much in finding better solutions and keeping up with industry. Would it be better to not have to do that? Perhaps, but at least we have really great people around the world working on common solutions. But by all means, please take that on as a challenge. We look forward to the result. So we have another a bit more technical question from Aditya about some of the data sets. What is the temporal and spatial resolution of oil spill related data sets? Satellite imagery, ocean currents, wind, etc. Do you mean where they are available or what type of data sets are available? And are real-time data accessible for operational simulation? You want to do an oil spill prediction trajectory Solution of predictive emulsification methods. I think that perhaps if we still have Lino with us, he might be able to get a little bit into that, about where perhaps, as an example, such a data set would be located. Are you here, Lino?
Yes, I'm still here. Can you repeat the question, because
Yes.
I'm not sure I get it.
So Aditya's question is, I think, where is the temporal and spatial resolution of oil spill related data sets available? And in parentheses, satellite imagery, ocean currents, wind, SSST, etc. Are the real-time data sets accessible for operational simulations? The team wants to, okay, yeah.
Okay, I believe, that, this will be touched in another session. I don't remember, it should be session number 3.
Yes.
Okay, so you will get the instruction. If you see one of the service that we provide that I missed, in the demonstration today, because it will be presented, in another session, is the data discovery and access. Through this service, you will get access to all the data that you need. Clearly, you may use also other external sources. You can access Copernicus Marine service, to access the data. Then you can localize, store in the workspace, and then process in the environment. It's up to you. But I believe that you will get a full understanding of the Blue-Cloud VRE capacities when you will follow the different sessions.
Indeed. Yes, thank you. And we do have a lot of experts joining us in the next 3 sessions as well. As I mentioned, the hack pack that you are going to receive is going to help lead you to all the data sets that you need. And again, this is going to be also the role of coaches that will be supporting you. They know their data, they know where they're located. So they will be helping you on a solution basis. So yes, please join us for the next ones as well to get better answers for this. Then we have another question. I'm sorry, it might once again be a little bit more directed to Lino, I believe. I believe Sara is not here. So the question is Copernicus Marine Service allowed to be used in the hackathon? Is it the same as Edito, Emodnet, Blue-Cloud? So Edito is a collection of Copernicus Marine and Emodnet data with, of course, then the applications that are being created by European projects. Blue-Cloud does have a very special relationship with Edito. So I'm going to again give over to Lino.
Yes, thank you, Angeliki. And also, this is a very good question. So let me say, that clearly we have a good relationship with Edito, and we are working together to make, the two platforms, completely interoperable. But we are not yet there. So if you plan to use, data that are accessible through Edito, you can do it clearly. And again, you can access the data and then continue the processes on Blue-Cloud. Shortly, but we are not yet there. The two platform would be completely integrated. Okay.
Indeed. Thank you, Lino. Yes, this is part of the plan. And it's a great opportunity, I think, for everyone who will be joining the hackathon and taking on Challenge 4 to be able to work indeed using Edito, but at the same time having also Blue-Cloud resources available. We believe it's going to be a really interesting experience that could produce very good solutions. For now, we do not have any more questions. We have heard very good presentations today from Othman on why the ocean is important. Why should we care? Sarah gave us a very good introduction to Blue-Cloud and its goals. Lino, of course, gave us a first taste of of the technical capabilities of Blue-Cloud, but there's so much more behind it. And then we also heard on ocean best practices from Sigmund that we hope is something that you're going to try and apply all of your solutions. So Michele, if there's nothing else that you might want to mention at this point.
I guess we can go to the next steps if we don't have any question. All right.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you, Lino.
Okay, so very quickly, next is the live session number 2 in 2 days, 18th of September. Here you have the full agenda, but basically the key information here is that we will start with VLab 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. And here you have the details of all the people and institutions that will provide a presentation about this. We will have a Q&A session, of course, with the VLab coaches. So that will be the time for you to ask your questions about the VLabs. Mm-hmm. And then next week, again, we will meet again for live session 3 and 4, as I explained before. So one more thing before we say thank you. See you on Discord. So join Discord. Everyone is there. Everyone is chatting. So yeah, that would be the next step. Thank you so much to everyone, to the speakers, right, Angeliki? They did a great job. Yes.
Thank you for everyone who participated today. We will be putting up this video in the next few days. Please join the next session. You're going to have a lot of our coaches and mentors who are going to be presenting. So it's a great opportunity for you to already get to know them. We look forward to seeing you. And once again, thank you to our speakers and see you all very soon.